All right, before we get started, I want to let you know that you're about to watch the first few modules, the first few classes of my full course titled Fabrics for Fashion Design, Essential Learning for Designers. These lessons, these classes will give you a strong foundation so you actually understand how different fabrics behave and how to choose the right fabric for your design and how to avoid major mistakes. So, let's dive in. Fabrics in fashion design. If you've always wanted to learn about the different types of fabrics and categories and properties and how to use them to create a collection, well, this course is for you. Hello everyone, my name is Nino Villa and I'm your instructor. And welcome to another one of my courses in fashion design. In this course, I'm going to cover categories such as wovens versus knits, natural fibers and man-made fibers. You will learn about yarns and fiber content and construction, new definitions such as gray goods and vertical mills and distributors and jobbers, and we'll review some grain lines. We'll discuss the different types of knits and the different types of weaving such as Oxford, poplin, twill, herringbone, flannel. I'm also going to drape different fabrics on a dress form to show you how they behave, how they move, how they hang, okay? This course will educate you, yes, but it will also inspire you to approach fashion designing from a different perspective. Whether you're a beginner or experienced, learning how to use fabrics to design a collection is so important. I'm going to show you how to design a group and develop a collection. So, roll up your sleeves, let's get to work. I will see you in class. Ci vediamo in classe. Ciao. Fabric and textile. Two words that are interchangeable, meaning I will be using them in place of each other. They have similar meaning. The textile industry works way ahead of everybody else. They know what you will be wearing 2-3 years from now. You see, they have to come up with and create new fabrics, new colors, new fibers. And speaking of fibers, let's start with fiber content. So, what is a fiber? Well, think of a fiber as a filament, a thread-like piece. And we'll start by dividing fibers into two categories: natural fibers and man-made fibers. Starting with natural fibers, they also can be broken down into two further categories: plant-based fibers and animal-based fibers. Plant-based fibers are fibers such as cotton. Cotton is definitely one of the most widely used material, right? It's soft, it's transparent, it's easily ironed. Linen is another plant-based fiber. Linen is one of the oldest fabrics in the world. It's used a lot in the summer because it absorbs humidity and it keeps the body temperature cool. And then we have fibers such as hemp, flax, bamboo, and others. Now, animal-based fibers are fibers such as wool and cashmere, camel hair, alpaca, angora, mohair, and silk. Yes, silk comes from the cocoon of the silkworm, used for elegant and sophisticated garments, right? So, these are natural fibers. Then we have man-made fibers or synthetic fibers, which are polyester, nylon, acrylic, acetate, rayon, viscose, and spandex. Lycra is a brand name for spandex. So these that I just listed are fibers. Fibers are then made into yarns, which are then woven or knitted to create fabric. Sometimes a textile company, which by the way is also known as a mill, M-I-L-L. So if you see the word mill, it means a textile company. They will create a blend where they will combine fibers. Say for example, polyester and cotton, a poly-cotton blend, right? Or in some cases, you'll notice in the label of a garment, you will see like 50% cotton, 45% polyester, and 5% lycra, or rayon, or some other combination. Those are blends, right? We also have minor categories called specialty yarns or novelty yarns, where the yarn is irregular. It's done on purpose, right? They have a unique quality to it. Say for example, sometimes you'll see that the yarn might have loops in the middle of a yarn, which looks like it's a mistake, but it's done on purpose, such as boucle or chenille. Now, in the next class, we're going to look at wovens versus knits. All right? See you next class. If I had to break down fabrics into two major categories, I would say it's knits and wovens. So I have here a t-shirt and a shirt. Now, a t-shirt almost always is made out of knit fabrics. How do we know that? See, a knit fabric stretches. It stretches horizontally, it stretches vertically, it stretches all different directions. That's a knit fabric. That's the property of a knit fabric. Whereas in a woven fabric, like this shirt right here, if I try to do what I just did with the t-shirt, you can see that a woven fabric does not give. It doesn't stretch in either direction. So that's the main difference between a knit fabric and a woven fabric. And I know that you guys are familiar with muslin, right? Muslin is a woven fabric, you see? And you can tell because I can pull this thread right here, just like that. In a woven fabric, the only way that a woven fabric can stretch a little bit is if it's on the bias, 45-degree angle, okay? Okay, let's start with knits. Let's define what it is and the different types of knit fabrics. Knitting is the process of interlooping of yarns or interlocking of loops. Some of the types of knits are jersey or standard jersey, also known as single knit or plain knit. Jersey is made by using one set of needles. Cotton jersey is the most common type of knits, and it's very soft and it's fluid and it's very popular for t-shirts. Then we have double knits. Now in a double knit, the structure is created with two sets of needles and more strands of yarn than a single knit. Double knits give a more structured and more stable look to the garments and are suitable for pants and skirts, dresses, leggings, and so on. We also have tricot as a type of knit fabric. Tricot is a material that can be made from natural or synthetic fibers. A very popular use of tricot fabric is for women's undergarments, lingerie, bras, for example, allowing not only support but also comfort. And then we have lace, right? I think we're all familiar with lace. Those are the major types of knit fabrics that you should be familiar with, okay? So now let's move on to woven fabrics. Not all wovens are created equal, meaning there are different types of weaves, such as Oxford. You might have heard of an Oxford shirt, for example, right? If you look at an Oxford shirt, it's very formal and it's used a lot in business looks. It is characterized by using one colored thread, say like blue, for example, and one white thread, which gives a dotted appearance. We have twill. Twill has a series of parallel and diagonal ribbing that gives the fabric a series of diagonal surface lines. Herringbone. Herringbone has a specific look, which is characterized by its diagonal weave. We have flannel. Flannel is usually soft and warm and characterized by different size stripes in both horizontal and vertical direction, using different color yarns. Then we have poplin. Poplin is another type of weave. Poplin is a plain weave with warp threads, twice the number of weft threads, which gives the illusion of stripes, but it's not a striped fabric. Now, I just used two words which you might not be familiar with, warp and weft, right? What is that? So let's take a minute to review grain lines, because these two words have to do with the grain line of the fabric. Warp is the straight grain. Warp is the straight grain which is parallel to the selvage. And weft is the cross grain. And of course, there is always bias, which is the 45-degree angle. Now we have another category of fabrics which are not knits, they're not wovens, they are non-woven, such as felt, for example. Felt is produced by condensing and pressing fibers together. Felt can be made of natural fibers or synthetic fibers. Felt never frays. And then we have hides. Hides as in leather and suede, which is the skin of an animal. I'm going to show you how to lay patterns on a skin. I'm also going to show you something about velvet that's very unique. Okay? Stay tuned. See you next class. So if this video resonated with you, I encourage you to enroll in the full course. I'll put the link in the description below, and I will see you in class.